my flight was delayed 3 times and then it was canceled. And I don't remember the last time that I vlogged because I just don't remember. I don't remember. I was in Long Island for the weekend for a baby shower. I came back Sunday and I'm leaving to Florida on Thursday. Like, I just have a lot to do. And I get so overwhelmed with things. I'm gonna go to Target after work because I have a couple of things that I need to purchase. It's either I'm gonna get travel containers and put the products that I'm bringing with me in there because I threw my old travel containers out, or I'm buying just like a bunch of minis. That's really all that I really need to get. And then if I can find a pair of shorts, I'm gonna get a pair of shorts because I don't have summer clothes. I know I've said that so many times throughout my vlogs, but I really don't have like a summer wardrobe. Like, I don't have clothes that I can wear during this damn heat wave that is comfortable, whether that's for work or just like casual. I did get a romper from Old Navy when they had a sale like a couple of weeks ago, but I think I just need like one more pair of shorts. So I'm going to do that after work, like early evening. I ordered groceries yesterday. They were delivered. I wanted to make sure that they were at least the essentials for this week. I was like, I'm going to come back from Long Island on Sunday and I'm going to do groceries. No. I'm not coming from Penn Station uptown to go back downtown to go back up. And then I knew I didn't want to do that yesterday after work, so I just ordered from Whole Foods. And I was going to get my nails done. I had to cut all my nails down because the gel manicure that I got just did not last long. The gel started peeling in like under a week, which should not be happening. That's my spiel, guys. Let me sign in, go about my day, and I'll check in with you guys later. I'm so tired and delirious. Okay, so I'm about to start packing. When I went to Target yesterday, there was a fight. I don't know what happened. I couldn't really see the fight. I just heard a lot of loud voices, and initially I didn't think it was an argument or something, and then it just got progressively louder, and all I heard was somebody was saying, "Did I fucking touch you? No, don't fucking touch me." And I was like, oh, that's not good. Anyways, that was a drama in Target. I got almost everything that I needed. I didn't get any minis there because those minis were expensive. Like, I'm not spending $7 and change for a mini bottle of CeraVe. Like, I'm not doing that. So I ended up just buying my acne facial wash from CeraVe because I needed it anyway, like a small one. And I got like some cheapy containers, travel containers. And tomorrow I will worry about putting things like that in travel containers. For now, I'm just packing some clothes. I'm not bringing that much with me. I also have things, I think I mentioned this, but I have things that I purchased for my first visit to Florida that I never used, so I'm just gonna bring that again too, and hopefully things still fit me. I don't know, because I'm not trying anything on. I got very basic tank tops at Target because they are just so good, and I like the thickness in the shoulder section, so I got like a basic mocha color. They didn't have a large, so I was like, F it, I'll just get an extra large, and then a gray one because I always need a basic, and I have more than enough black and white ones, and then some simple flip-flops because I didn't have any, and I didn't want to spend this much on these. These were $14.99. I wanted the $5 ones, but they looked incredibly uncomfortable, number one. Number two, they didn't have anything in my size, so I just got like a basic tan color, and it has a nice little thickness, and then the sole is pretty soft, so got that. I'm basically just gonna put my clothes in the cubes, and then tomorrow I'll put it inside of my suitcase. So anyways, let me look at my packing cubes because I actually don't know where they are.
What is ra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta?
She got that ra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. She ride it, that's my ra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. She want it, she make it ra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. She got it.
Okay, so I wasn't expecting such traffic for New Kids, but it is absolutely so crowded. And we left at 4:37, and it's now, what time is it? 6:08, and we're just arriving. We're here.
Look at my sisters.
Look at my sisters.
Yo, they came with their bags. They are
My
ready.
sisters.
They are ready.
Look at my new kid sisters. That's the blockhead sisters.
I know. And then you just twist. Thank you. Drink is way too strong. That margarita is too strong. Here, you want to taste mine? It's not a good mix. You like it? I think it's my taste buds. Like everything just tastes weird to me. Okay, what do you want? A burger?
I don't eat swine and I don't eat beef.
We are in Publix getting some essentials for a barbecue pool party. I'm not wearing the right bra with this, but whatever. Oh, I want goldfish, so we're getting that. Yes. Got that. What else? I'm trying to think what else we need. We got some watermelon because I want a watermelon. And I think I want some spritz. That's what I want. These are so cute.
The balloons are at the registry.
Sister had to get this one, even though I wanted like the canned spritzers, but whatever.
Zoom in all the way. All the way. Okay, I guess not.
Do you want to go all the way?
Yeah, see all the way. Wow. Yeah, you go forward. I'm out if I only go to 20, X. Look, lower down the brightness. Mine goes. Oh, you can see it. Darker.
No. Stop moving. Stop moving the camera.
No, it's brightening up because there's a car and it senses the light. So, there we go. I'm back in New York. Finally, I made it. I got back yesterday at, I don't remember what time it was, but it was a little bit later than expected, only because they took a minute to get everyone on board. So we left closer to 7 or maybe even after 7 a.m. even though the flight was supposed to be at 6:30, but whatever. I got on a damn plane and we were out. I'm trying to make coffee. I'm like, where's my greca? I'm gonna make some coffee as I share a little bit about this disaster. I knew something was, oops, shit. I knew something was up when I landed in Orlando. My flight there was slightly delayed, but not anything crazy. I didn't think anything of it, right? Once I landed, I knew something happened. I got there close to 10 and I had never seen the airport that crowded. I literally could not walk through once I was off the plane. I couldn't get through. That's how many people there were. And just based on their physicality and the looks on their face and what they were saying, I knew that there were massive delays. When I get to my sister's car, I tell them, like, yo, the airport is like it's really crowded. I think something happened. She's like, oh, Orlando's always like that. And I'm like, no, there were a lot of people there. I think something happened. So anyways, we go about our evening, and by Saturday morning, she turns on the TV, and she was like, oh my God, news, look. And I look, and sure enough, there it is on the screen about the outage. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, hopefully this will be resolved by the time I have to leave on Sunday. All I kept getting, well, what I got Saturday evening were just text messages explaining how my flight might be impacted from the outage, which, you know, is to be expected. I got the text and the email that my flight was available for check-in, so I did that early as soon as I got it. Sunday, I didn't get any alerts about my flight being delayed until the afternoon. Mind you, my flight was supposed to be, actually not the afternoon, maybe like 11 or 12. My flight was supposed to be for like 3:59 or something like that, basically 4 o'clock. And I got delays starting at maybe like almost noon, let's say. And the delays weren't long delays. And my dad was also flying out on Sunday. So I'm like, okay, if anything, this might work out because my sister wouldn't have to make 2 trips. She can drop us all off at the airport. That's what ended up happening. Ultimately, my flight was delayed 3 times. And then it was canceled. So in the app, you have the option to look for alternate flights. The only alternate flight that I could find was one for the following day, which was Monday, in the afternoon. And I'm like, okay, that's not ideal, but whatever. At least it's one way, because all the other options had like 2 stops or 3 stops. I'm like, why would I do that? Why would I want to get on a flight with 2 stops or 3 stops just to go to New York? Like, that's ridiculous. So I'm like, I'll just do the afternoon and that's it and be done with it. My sister was like, no, just keep refreshing. You know, maybe it'll change and a new flight option will come up. So I did that, and I saw one for that same day, Sunday, but at night, like at 7:30. And I'm like, oh my God, I jumped on it like so fast. So I'm like, this one has one stop in Atlanta, but whatever, like, I don't give a shit. And she's like, oh, it's perfect. I could drop you and dad off and everyone and whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. So once I was at the airport, my flight was delayed. Not by much, but it was delayed. And so it was now coming in after my connecting flight. So I said, okay, either my connecting flight is late too, like that's going to be delayed, or God forbid it gets canceled, that would really suck. So I saw that one was delayed, but it didn't say the time. So once I got on the plane and we boarded and went through all of that, I felt bad for these freaking pilots and flight attendants too, because they're dealing with the disaster just as much as we are, and they have to deal with everyone's frustrations and personalities. But they did tell us that they don't have any information on any connecting flights, and our best option is to make sure that we have the app so that when we land we can check it and see if anything had changed while we were on flight. So I did just that. As soon as we landed, I checked. My flight was canceled. So I was like, great. I checked alternate flights. My only option was a flight at 6:30 in the morning to New York. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to be spending a couple of hours in Atlanta. So I'm like, okay, I'll just try to like find a hotel room so I can at least be comfortable and like sleep comfortably if I'm going to have to be at the airport again by like 5 o'clock in the morning, right? Obviously, I'm very frustrated, but once I got off the plane, like Atlanta, oh my God, it was bad. And I attempted to call Delta. I was in a shitty situation just like everyone else. I knew it would be a long wait. I knew I likely wouldn't speak to anyone, but at least I wanted to call and see if there was anything that they could offer for lodging, a discount, like something. Because I figured it's not just me. Everyone is stranded here. I'm sure I'm not the only one looking for a place to stay. There are people, from the stories I heard, there were people that had been waiting to fly out for like 2-3 days and they had to find places to stay. So I knew my options were very limited. I also knew that it would be very expensive. I'm just going to have to stay at the airport. Like, that's just what it is. I know I'm not going to sleep, but I don't have a choice. Just so you guys can understand what people were going through. Because I knew that I had a connecting flight, I did not check in my bag. Because I was like, I'm not risking that with these delays and cancellations. I'm not risking it. I'm going to It's going to be my carry-on. And I'm so glad that I decided to do that, because once I was finally there, I was like checking online and going on Twitter and all that stuff, and just the people that I spoke to, it was just such a shit show. Like, how do you lose people's luggage? I'm so glad I didn't check in my bag, because the stories of people that checked in their bags, had their flights delayed, and then ended up having their flights canceled, their baggage getting lost, their baggage being sent somewhere else, which was confusing to people, because they're like, if you're canceling all these flights, what plane were people's luggage going on? And then you can't get through to anyone. You can't call. The app was glitching. The website, forget about it. Which I understand, everyone's going to those things, but the fact that you couldn't really talk to a person was very frustrating. Were there lines of people so I could talk to a Delta rep at a desk? Sure. But do you understand how long those lines were? Those lines were ridiculous. And I'm like, what are they going to tell me? I already have a new flight. What are they going to help me with? Like, that's how I saw it. I didn't want to stand on those lines. It was so, people were waiting on lines for like 2 hours. I was like, I'm not doing that. Like, let me just be comfortable and accept the fact that my next flight out is at 6:30 in the morning. Like, that's just what it is. I just felt bad for the elderly and the people that needed assistance, people in wheelchairs, people with walkers and things like that, for the babies and the parents that had to deal with sleeping on the floor. It was a hot mess. It was a hot mess. And obviously everyone is frustrated. So just some context as to the fuckery that was going on from people that like I spoke to and what they had to deal with. When I went to Orlando to fly back to New York, I hadn't gotten that email from the CEO or text, whatever it was, but I did speak to two gentlemen that got the email, and they said it was absolutely ridiculous. One guy was offered like a $12 meal voucher, and he was like, what am I going to do with $12? I'm going to go to McDonald's. I got a wife and like 3 kids. Like, what am I going to do with that? So he was flying to LA. He hadn't received any notifications. He didn't get any alerts. He didn't get anything about like, hey, due to the outage, your flight might be... He didn't get that. He just showed up to the airport hoping for the best. The other dude was supposed to actually leave on Friday, and he was stranded in Orlando since Friday, basically for 2 days, and his wife was able to like find a place for them to stay, but they too were struggling to try to get back home. I don't know where they were going back home to. I don't remember. So I find a place to sit. It was super crowded, and after some time I can tell that everyone there was waiting for a flight to Boston. I'm just giving you a small story of like what people were dealing with. I knew that they were waiting for a flight to Boston. I look at the time on the screen, and that flight was supposed to leave at like 4:45, let's say. It's midnight. It's past midnight. It's Monday morning now. So I'm like, damn. And what was confusing to people is that sometimes there were aircrafts there, but they weren't going anywhere, and no one was boarding. So naturally, people had questions like, why are we here? Like, there's a plane right there. Like, what is happening? After a while, and I mean a while, okay, of me being there. So these people have been there since way before. Some dude gets on the intercom. That's a whole other thing. The intercom was a mess because there were at least 3 to 5 different announcements going on at the same time. So you couldn't really hear or understand anything. And this was in Atlanta as well as Orlando as well as LaGuardia. Like, it was just a mess. So anyway, this guy gets on and says that the flight is departing from B31. I had never been to Atlanta Airport before. This was my first time. So at the time, I know this now because I had to go to my gate, which was B22. But I didn't go there yet. I was like, I found an empty seat and I just stood in the A terminal. It's basically like an underground system. Like, you have to get on this little Airbus type of thing, and it takes you to wherever you gotta go. And then you walk way down. So is it close? Yes. But like also not at the same time if you're traveling with like a lot of people, kids, elderly, or whatever. So when he announced that, everyone gets up and like just over there. Now it's quiet, and I'm like, okay, I feel a little bit comfortable. I can kind of position myself in a way to at least close my eyes. Like, I knew I wouldn't sleep, but at least close my eyes. After some time, like, you can hear, like, you knew when another plane landed because you could hear the rush of people like just coming off, the sounds of, you know, their luggage and the wheels and all that stuff. Some people come to our section and they just sit down, and this one dude is sitting across from me. He hears an older gentleman asking for the flight to Boston, like, and asking if it's from this gate, whatever, and the guy tells him it's B31. So the dude hears that, goes up, I'm assuming asks as well to confirm B31. But here's the shit. they never changed it on the screen. So anyone that came looking for that flight wouldn't have known that they changed the gate because they weren't changing the screens. Long story short, all of those people come back now, and I'm thinking to myself, what the hell happened? Like, they all come back. And I'm like, okay, this is really bizarre. Like, 15 minutes go by, and their flight was canceled. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. So basically, their flight had been delayed since 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. They announced the gate was changed. Anyone getting off a connecting flight in Atlanta, I'm assuming, maybe didn't get the gate changed because they showed up to my gate. I had a gate change as well, but I was checking the app religiously, and I was also checking the boards. But the actual screens at the gate, those I did not see change, or at least the one I was at. The gate was changed. I don't know if they boarded the plane and then had to get off to come back. I don't know. All I know is that their flight was canceled and people were pissed. I did hear stories of people that actually boarded the plane and then had to get off and then had their flight canceled. So it was very, very frustrating. And it seemed like it was Delta that was affected the most because other airlines seemed to be able to get things back up and running. But with Delta, I think it was like a combination of things, because even when I flew out on Monday, my pilot was very, very kind, and it wasn't his, he didn't have to, but he was apologizing profusely and like thanking us for our patience and saying like he knows how frustrating it is because they've been dealing with it as well. And he said like the system that they use, which I hadn't heard in the news anywhere, that system is also what coordinated the flights with gates and pilots and stewardesses and things like that. So it just was messed up. They were doing things manually, and it wasn't going well. There were times where flights landed, but they didn't have a gate yet. So that was a whole other issue. It was just like a backup of flights going out, and then planes that didn't have a gate to park at. So it was a disaster. But I'm grateful that I got on my 6:30 flight. Once my connecting flight was canceled, I was like, if I can get the earlier flight, that probably would be my best option. To leave earlier in the day versus in the middle of the day, coming into God knows what type of situation and not knowing really what to expect from whatever happened prior. Anyways, I'm telling you guys a very long story. I've been talking for like 16 minutes. It's ridiculous, okay? I'm happy that I was able to go to Florida and spend time with my family and go see New Kids on the Block, which was so much freaking fun. And I have to admit, I underestimated how insane that concert would be. I have to give them credit. They are 50-something years old. I'm thinking they will be on for like an hour and a half. No. They were on for at least 2 hours. It was so much fun. Talk about a stroll down memory lane. We loved New Kids on the Block growing up. My sister was always more obsessed than me and my other sister, and she loves Jordan Knight, and she like won contests and has met them before and gone to dinner with them. She's a fanatic to the core. But it was so much fun. I'm so happy I got to go. There were so many people there. It was absolutely insane. DJ Jazzy Jeff was awesome. Paul Abdul was awesome. The New Kids on the Block, wow, they really surprised me. Anyways, I thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and yeah, catch you on the next one.
Rolling, never gonna let you go. Rolling, never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Back bend, you so flexible.